Hello, everyone. On today's podcast episode, I'm going to talk about God magic again and what existence and non-existence truly, implies. In the concept of duality, right? God, which is one, right, created the Word, and the Word and God comes together to what? To create the world around us. Just like it states in the Bible. In the Bible, when the Word and God came together, the world was born. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Meaning, at the very beginning of life, God, which from our standpoint, right? Our standpoint, God is non-existence. God, non-existence, created existence itself, which is the Word. The Word signifies the beginning, meaning the world itself exists within the Word. So the Word and the world are synonymous, right? So the Word signifies existence. God signifies non-existence, right? But non-existence only exists, existence only exists through non-existence. These two cannot be separated. God and the Word cannot be separated because God, the Word is God's Word. The Word came from God itself. That's why it's called the Word. The word "the" roughly translates to God. So the and God, are pretty much synonymous. So the Word also means God's Word. So in the beginning was God's Word, and God's Word was with God, and God's Word was God. Do you understand? So when God's Word came together with God, the world, was born. So let me give you what that means. So if God represents non-existence and the Word represents existence, right? These two are, dualities. For our world to exist, right? The duality states that non-existence and existence must come together as one. Just like left and right must come together as one. For left to exist, right must exist. For movement to exist, non-movement must exist. They are dualities. They come together as one. For the beginning to exist, the end must exist. Otherwise, there's no such thing as time. For one to exist, many must exist. These two things are dualities. They come together as one. For zero to exist, one must exist. Zero represents infinity. So the word zero itself also implies what? Many. Which correlates with what? Existence and non-existence. Zero represents non-existence, while infinity represents existence. So it's not, it's not a coincidence that, that zero always has, a hidden meaning of what? Infinity. Zero represents infinity. It also represents what? Nothing. So that tells you that existence and non-existence, something and nothing, comes together as one. You can't separate the two. If you're having, a difficulty understanding what I'm trying to say, listen to my other podcast episodes where I go into depth of, into depth about duality and how, duality truly works. So let's talk about existence and non-existence. Let me give you an example of why I state that existence and non-existence are two parts of the same coin. They're two sides of the same magnet. What we call non-existence, right, is only non-existence from our point of view. What we call existence is only called existence from our point of view. Non-existence cannot exist without the term existence. Why? Because for existence to exist, to truly be considered existence, there has to be something that doesn't exist. Otherwise, the concept no longer makes sense. For non-existence to exist, there has to be a concept of existence. Otherwise, the word non-existence or the concept non-existence do not make any logical sense. You understand? So for existence and non-existence to exist, these two must come together as one. That's why in the beginning, when God says He creates all things, it means for God to create all things, God must also create non-existence as well. Meaning God created the world from His own body, which the Bible states. The word means God's word, meaning the word came from God's body, right? So existence came from non-existence. Yet from God's point of view, there's no difference between existence and non-existence. They're all God. Everything is God. The entire world exists within God, meaning existence exists within God, yet and also non-existence also exists within God. For existence to exist, non-existence must also exist. Non-existence only makes sense when there's something called existence. Existence only makes logical sense when there's something called non-existence. It has to be a duality, two equal opposites. There have to be two equal opposites for the two things to make sense. You can't just say existence is all there is. No, existence is all there is because there's something else that isn't. When you say existence is all there is, you mean there's something that is in existence by default. So let me give you a concept of what this means. Our brain, right? From your point of view, right? Your mind exists, right? From your point of view of the world, you exist, right? So you are considered existence. Do you know that the world around you is actually a replica created by your own mind? So the world around you is actually a replica created by your own mind. Your mind doesn't truly see the world around you as it truly is. Your mind creates a replica, a non-existent replica of the world. This is why optical illusions always work on you, because your mind is the one creating your reality. For you to experience the world around you, your mind sends signals. Your mind listens to the signals of the world. Takes in information and then recreates what information has been received. When you touch something, your mind is receiving information from your cells and then creating what? An experience for you, a fake version of the real experience. When eyes take in colors, your mind is actually seeing the real thing. It's only creating a version of what you see. So the world that you see around you is not actually the real world. Is what? It is a non-existent version of the real world that is updated in real time by your mind, by your brain. You don't really see the real world around you. You only see a non-existent version of it. Your existing brain only sees a non-existent version of the real world. Just like in a dream. When you dream, everything feels real, right? Because that's your mind creating that dream. Your mind is creating the dream that you see around you. When you wake up, your mind is doing the exact same thing that it's doing in the dream, but this time it's different. This time your mind is taking in signals from the world around you, right? Energy signals from the world around you, and turning it into color, sound, shape, form. Your mind is recreating the world as it wishes it for it to be, not as it truly is. There are many scientists have, when I grew up, I read an article. In the past, I read an article that stated that, color, each person sees color differently. What you call yellow may not be my yellow, because our brain recreates what it sees. Our brain creates, a version of the real world, a non-existent version of the real world. The color that you see, if you see color yellow, my color yellow may be different from your color yellow. but we both would call it yellow. And it will always be yellow in our own minds, because our minds has already determined that this color is yellow. Even though my color yellow could be your color red. This is how minds work. Our minds determine our reality. What we think exists does not exist. The world that you see around you is a fake replica, a non-existent version of the real world. But from your point of view, it exists, right? From your point of view, the world you see around you exists. But the truth is, existence is an illusion created by non-existence. And non-existence is an illusion created by existence. When non-existence and existence come together, the world is born. Our entire world is a mixture of existence and non-existence. It's an illusion created by existence and non-existence. What we call existence is what, from our point of view, existence. But from a different point of view, right? What I call yellow may be your red. So my yellow is non-existence in your world. But in my world, yellow is yellow. In your world, yellow is also yellow, but your yellow could look completely different from mine. That means in your world, my yellow does not exist. And in my world, your yellow, the color yellow, does not exist. Our minds create the reality that we see around us. Let me give you a different example. Atoms do not see humans. So from the point of view of atoms, we don't exist. We don't exist from the point of view of atoms, because atoms only see other atoms. If you look from the point of view of an atom, you will never see a human being once in your entire life. Why? Because there's an illusion. Existence works off illusion and perspective. From one perspective, from the perspective of atoms, we don't exist. From the perspective of humans, because we can't see atoms with our naked eyes, it's atoms and subatomic particles that do not exist. This is how life works. Non-existence and existence come together to create the world around us. God and the Word come together to create the world around us. That's how it states in the Bible. And what we call existence, right? What you think exists doesn't exist from the point of view of another man. Because that man's brain, that man's mind, recreates the world the way he wants it to be. The way you see the world is not the way your friend sees the world. The way we see the world is not the way dogs see the world. The way we see the world is not the way cats see the world. Every animal in this world has their own replica of how the world looks. Their brain creates a non-existent version of the world that is updated in real time. This is how the world works. Existence and non-existence come together as one. What you think exists, the world around you that you think the world around you exists the way you see it, but the truth is, it's an illusion created by your mind. The real version of the world you never truly see. You only see a replica of it, a replica created by your mind. A non-existent replica created by your own mind. So you're living inside your own mind, interacting with your own mind, without realizing that nothing you've ever experienced in this life is truly, exactly the way it is. Just like an optical illusion. Your brain is the one creating these things. Your brain is the one, turning the existing world into a non-existent version of it. We are creating a non-existent version of the world as we live. Until the day we die, existence and non-existence come together as one. Perspective determines what exists and what doesn't exist. From my perspective, your mind does not exist because I can never see your mind. While from your perspective, your mind is real. Your mind is just as real as you are. There's no difference between your mind and reality. My mind is the one that's fake. My mind is the one that's non-existence. You will never be able to figure out whether my mind actually exists, because you can only see things from your perspective. You can never see things from the perspective of someone else. And that's how existence and non-existence means. From my point of view, your mind is non-existence. It's non-existent. I can never see it. I can never experience it. I can only experience what? My own mind. But from your point of view, it's the equal and opposite. Your mind is the thing that's real, and my mind is the one that's fake. You can accept that I have a mind, right? Because we're both humans. Humans have minds. But what we truly see between, from one human to another changes, because our minds, our brains are not the same. Since our brains are not the same, we will never truly experience the same world. We'll only experience a replica of it. A replica created by our own minds. Our minds determine how the world looks. If you have a positive mindset, the world will be a happy place for you. If you have a negative mindset, the world will be an evil place, a cruel place, and everyone just hates you. Everyone does evil things all day. It's only 2 seconds before you die. You're just 2 steps from hell. Life is a mess. Life is misery. Everything sucks. You need to kill everyone. You need to end all this mess. When you have a negative mindset, this is how you think. You see the world as a negative place, and your brain reflects that. The brain starts to pay attention to what? The negative things in life. And guess what? That's a non-existent version of the real world. Your mind has created a non-existent version of the real world. You have a negative mindset, so now the world reflects in your eyes all the negative things in life. Your mind has created a negative version of the world. If you have a positive mindset, it's the equal and opposite. Your mind creates a positive version of the world. You don't really see the real world. You see a replica created by your own mind. And if you have a negative mindset of the world, you're always a negative person. You're the sinner of the world. You're the evil villain of the world because you're always trying to harm others because you think everyone harms each other. If you have a positive mindset of the world, you see the world as a happy place. Everyone helps each other. People are always kind. People are always helping each other. People are always doing good things. The world looks happy to you. The world will be happy to you because of your mindset. And your brain will recreate, a positive world, a happy world for you to experience. Your mind determines your reality. Because your mind always recreates a replica, a non-existent replica of the world. The world that you see around you doesn't exist. It's a fake version created by your own mind. It's a non-existent version created by your own mind. You don't truly exist from my point of view, and I don't truly exist from your point of view. Yet we both exist at the same time. See how it works? How non-existence and existence work? Is that we're always going through filters, of non-existence and existence. Existence can't exist without non-existence as a reference point. Non-existence can't exist without existence as a reference point. They come together as one. When God created all things, He also created non-existence as well, not just existence. So when you say God is omnipresent, that means God both exists and doesn't exist simultaneously. He is both and one at the same time. God is infinite and one at the same time. God is both left and right at the same time. God is both positive and negative at the same time. God is both male and female at the same time. God is both what? Finite and infinite at the same time. God is both large and small at the same time. God is both the past and the future at the same time. All the dualities come together as one God, as one intelligent God. This is how life works. We live in one massive being, and that being is called God. It is the source of all intelligence, and the source of all existences, and also the source of all non-existences as well. Because for existence to exist, non-existence must also exist simultaneously. They come together as one. One can exist without the other. This is how life works. Our world is filled with contradictions. Our world is filled with contradictions. The thing that determines your reality is perspective. The sun moves from your perspective. From the perspective of Earth, the sun is the one that's moving around us. From the perspective of the sun, we are the one that's moving around the sun. This is how life works. From the perspective of your ancestors, we don't exist. From our perspective, our ancestors are the ones that currently do not exist. And our future does not exist right now. The only thing that exists is this current moment. This moment exists, right? And all other moments are what? Non-existent. But from your point of view of your ancestors, is the equal and opposite. They are the ones that exist right now. We are the non-existent beings. We don't exist from the point of view of your ancestors. We don't exist. From the point of view of the past, the future does not exist. From the point of view of the future, it is the past that does not exist. The only thing that exists is the current moment. The current moment is the only thing that exists. And that's how perspective determines how life works. Your perspective determines life in every single way. In every single way. So that's it for today's podcast episode. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.